Hello, hello. I hope you guys are ready to start art. Now, we're learning about Salvador Dali, and we're looking at one of his famous paintings, The Persistence of Memory. He made it in 1931. So, he created this, and remember, he's a surrealist artist, so it's based on his dreams. So that's why it's very odd and confusing. We know it's a landscape. We have our rocks and our water in the background. But then also we have what looks like to be a table and a dead tree growing out of a table. And we have this, but we can't really tell what this is meant to be. It could be a shell, it could be some type of animal from his memories. But when you zoom in closely, you actually can see its eyelashes. So it could be like him envisioning himself dreaming with his eyes closed. There's just so much behind Dali's work that's so interesting because he was a surrealist artist. Everything's from his dreams. So now, for our art project, we're focusing on the melting clock. So we are going to be creating our own melting clock. Tongue twisted. We are going to be creating our own melting clock, focusing on the illusion of movement, right? If it's melting, it's dripping, it's falling down. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Are y'all ready? I have my gray paper, I have my white paper. If you don't have gray, use any color you want. You can use black, you can use your favorite color. It doesn't matter, it's your art project. All right, so let's start with our first shape. I'm going to start with my white paper, okay? And I'm gonna create my shape that I want my clock to look like. And I'm gonna use a pencil first so I can erase if I don't like what I've created, right? So I'm gonna start. And I want it to be melting, right? So I have it dripping down, creating that illusion. And I'll go ahead and go over this with Sharpie so you can see it better. All right? So create a shape that looks like it could be melting. I started round at the top, and I kind of wiggle my way down to a point. All right? Now I can cut this out. And again, move your paper around. It's a lot easier to move it while cutting instead of trying to keep it still. Just always turning it and moving it. Get that little touch up. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be very helpful now because we need to trace this shape we created, but not all the way at the paper. You want some room, some space. So watch what Miss Roundabout does. And we're going to actually do a little bit of detail at the top because you can see on the clocks, they have that little round shape at the top, okay? We're going to be adding that in there. All right, so I'm going to start with giving it that round little button at the top, right? And I did those lines to create that detail. And now I'm going to go around. See, I'm not fully tracing it by touching the white paper. I'm going around it, following the shapes and lines that I created. Boom, okay? So now what you're going to do, pull this to the side, cut this one out, put my papers to the side. Okay, now we're going to take the glue, put some glue on the back of your white paper, and lay it down. Be all right. So now we have to add our numbers on our clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the 12, and I want my numbers to kind of be wiggly too, to give it that weird feeling, like, because remember, it's supposed to be dreamy like. So I'm gonna do my numbers kind of a little wiggly in a way. All right, so I'm gonna start with my 12, and then I'm gonna put my 6 here, and I'm gonna put my 3 here, and then my 9, and that's going to help me kind of keep things even. So now I put my numbers in the middle, and I kind of have these to help me make sure I have my numbers evenly spaced out. All right, so let's add the rest of our numbers. We have our 1, our 2, our 4, our 5, and see how I'm kind of adding a little bit of extra detail to these numbers to make them look a little bit, you know, odd. Our 7, our 8, our 10, and our 11. All right, put our little dot in the middle. Now, what time do you want it to be? This is your clock. So I'm going to say it's going to be, I'm gonna wiggle it. So I want it to be a little weird.
Yes.
Shh. Mr. P just walked in, y'all. Say, hey, Mr. P.
Sorry.
Don't forget, we share an office together. Okay, so now I have my clock. Here's our tricky part. You're going to take it, find the edge of a table. I can move this a little bit so you can see what I'm about to do. I'm going to use the edge of my table, and I'm going to bend my clock on that edge. All right, and then make it more secure, pick it up, bend it, and then it will sit on the edge of the table. See if I can get this up without turning it off. And voila, we have our melting clock. I hope you had fun learning about Salvador Dali, and since we're face to face, say hello to Mr. P.
What's up?
Bye, y'all.